Hi everyone, I'm Sam LaPrade. Welcome to Ottawa Business Matters. It's great to have you here this week. Once again, we're going to talk about all things business in the capital. Sueling Ching, President and CEO of the Ottawa Board of Trade, is our first guest. Hello, Sueling.
Hello, Sam.
It's great to have you here, and I think every week we sort of, share all of the mystery behind the Ottawa Board of Trade. There's so much that you do. Last week we focused a lot on the events, but that's just it's a big part of what you do, but also you do so much more. I really wanted this week, if it's okay with you, to really focus in on the advocacy work that you do, because I think it's a really big piece.
So, the Board of Trade or Chambers of Commerce, they've been around since 1599. It started in Marseille, France, and I just did a little speech on this last week, and it started because a group of merchants were not happy with what their town's decision makers were doing, and so they wanted to create a voice for themselves as a group. And the essence of that mission remains the same today across the world. Chambers of Commerce and Boards of Trade were created to have a voice for business in their communities. And so that's what we have been doing in Ottawa for over 162 years. And, I think in the beginning, and at some point we'll have our board chair on here, and he tells a wonderful story about how the business leaders actually created this city, right from garbage collection to clean water, etc. So city building is in the tradition of the Board of Trade. But what we really focus on is how do we create an environment in which businesses can thrive. And as you know, those decisions are made by the business community themselves and how they conduct themselves. And we have many programs for our members to take advantage of to advance their success as business organizations. But we also have to make sure that the policies and programs that are happening at every level of government are making sure that it is easy for entrepreneurs to do business, to grow, to scale, and to contribute back to the community. That's the whole reason we exist. So that advocacy work looks like some of the events that we talked about last week. It looks like presentations that we do at every level of government, conversations that we're having with economic partners, collaborating with those partners, and that's how we move forward on key issues that we know are important to the business community.
And I look at it as well on sort of two fronts. Obviously, we have a very big "We're open for business" sign globally. Come here, bring your headquarters here. We know all those discussions that have happened over the years from a high-tech perspective, from a retail perspective, but also that we're open for business locally, in terms of inspiring entrepreneurs to not only join the Ottawa Board of Trade as a member, but grow and prosper in this city.
100%. That's not an easy gig, being an entrepreneur, right? You know many entrepreneurs in Ottawa, particularly over the last 3 years, who have demonstrated tremendous amounts of resilience and ingenuity, and it's that same ingenuity and community at heart that we need to keep going because it really defines our city. So across Canada, 99% of our businesses are SMEs, small, medium enterprises, and they employ 96 or 97% of us, our kids, ourselves, and so we have to protect our small, medium enterprises as economic drivers in our city, but also as stewards of our culture and our sense of community. So they bring to the table, these entrepreneurs, unique experiences, unique products that we might not otherwise have, and that can help distinguish our city for visitors and for people who might want to live here. So that's an important part of making sure that we're contributing to the economic well-being of our city, is to make sure that we're focusing on those small businesses, those entrepreneurs that are local.
And layering on top of all that, and I know in the past weeks and the weeks to come, we're going to have many different partners on to talk about obviously their role, but having a strong hospital, for instance, this brand new hospital we're going to have, having a strong, vibrant culture, all of those, that's part of the ecosystem you speak about, right?
It's part of the ecosystem, and maybe more important than it's ever been, because as you and I both know, in today's world, post-pandemic, people are thinking more about where they're going to live and where they're going to work, and that's not necessarily the same thing. And our businesses have identified the ability to attract talent as a top business issue. So what that means is that maybe more than ever before, the lifestyle that we're selling in Ottawa to live here is more important than ever. So we want to be able to share, you know, how great it is to go to school here, that we have an excellent healthcare system, that we have access, you know, to nature, that we have a vibrant business community, lots of fun things to do, like the arts and culture and the sports, like having an NHL team. We had Aaron Benjamin on, how important that music scene is. So all of those things together tell the story of why people want to live, work, and play in Ottawa.
And when I think back of the last number of years, for sure, is seeing you in photos, because you've got important meetings, not only with the Premier of this province, Doug Ford, with the Prime Minister, you've been with local MPs, and of course with our Mayor. All three levels of government, you've had to make those connections because you're speaking for all of these members. And I can't imagine that someone that is an entrepreneur that we just spoke about has the time to try and manage all that. That's why you're here, right?
That's why we're here, and that's why it's so important for every business in Ottawa to think about becoming involved with the Board of Trade, not just because of what we offer to them and their business, but because of what we can do if we have that support, galvanizing the business community toward one message. And we are working with every level of government. That's critically important. But more than ever, too, part of our advocacy agenda is ensuring that every level of government work well with each other, right? There is no room for silos in what we have to accomplish together. We have many opportunities in front of us, and we're facing many challenges. So more than ever, we are calling on every level of government to be smart with their resources, right? To make sure that the key responsibilities that each level of government has are synergized together so we can have the optimal outcomes.
I remember about 90 days into the pandemic saying to you, I don't know what we would do without an Ottawa Board of Trade. And thank heavens it's been around for as many years as it has been. But really, I think the pandemic really put a focus on the fact that that advocacy work had to be done by a group that was trusted, a group that had very strong leaders behind it. Talk to me a little bit about the board of the Ottawa Board of Trade and the role that they play in this as well.
Yes, so I mean, we're a not-for-profit, independent, nonpartisan organization. And we were very fortunate because in Ottawa, we actually had several chambers of commerce that was a hangover from the amalgamation of the municipalities. In 2001, I believe. Yes. So in 2018, we consolidated those, and we consolidated those chambers because we knew that we had to strengthen the voice of business, not because we knew a pandemic was coming, but because we knew that the pace and scope of change in the economic landscape in Ottawa and globally was increasing, and that we had to become a little sharper with our voice of business. So thank goodness that we did amalgamate before the pandemic hit, because we were able to hit the ground running. And chambers of commerce across the board are the official liaison for the business community for every level of government. You know, our Canadian chamber CEO was one of the first calls that our Prime Minister made when the pandemic hit to talk about how we supported our businesses across the country. And so we were happy to be in place at the time of the pandemic. And then really the pandemic, we're an old organization, but we're a bit of a startup after the consolidation, and we were able to really accelerate that voice of business. And we were grateful to every level of government and our local councillors and MPPs and MPs for engaging with us at a really high level. And so that level of collaboration is what we're asking for as we move forward to transition Ottawa into its sort of next form. You know, there are a lot of changes going on here, and so a lot of opportunities that we don't want to lose.
Our show, of course, Ottawa Business Matters, is all about influencing, informing, and inspiring. We only have a couple of minutes, but talk to me a little bit and inspire someone to become a member.
So, I mean, I think that no entrepreneur, no business, no person is going to operate in isolation. So we do create a sense of community. And I think I didn't answer your question earlier about our board of directors. Our board of directors are volunteers who are in the business community and who understand the importance of what an organization like ours can do for businesses today, but also to build a legacy for the future. And so they are kind enough and bright enough to volunteer their time to lead this organization, and they're doing that on behalf of the entire business community. So I would encourage every business to think about contributing to that. They're going to get something back, there's no question about that, but ensuring that we have a strong voice of business so that we make sure that that lens, if you will, is being taken into consideration as we make decisions for the future of the city.
Very smart, and I know we have about a minute left. We talked a little bit about events last week, but in terms of what's coming up, we've got obviously the mayor's breakfast happens. We have lots of great activities coming up, and of course the website's a great place to go.
That's a great place to go, and of course the federal budget's coming soon, and we do an annual post-budget breakfast. So as soon as that's announced in the news, then you can look on our website for the details, because we do the details right there.
A big thank you to Sueling Ching, President and CEO of the Ottawa Board of Trade, for joining us, of course. And I'd like to introduce you to Ruby Williams when we come back on Ottawa Business Matters.
One of my favorite parts of Ottawa Business Matters is getting to know leaders in our community, and Ruby Williams joins me now from Deloitte. Hi, Ruby, how are you?
Nice to meet you,
It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What's your role at Deloitte?
So I am a partner who leads the M&A practice here in Ottawa, but I also work with a really large team across the country that we have about 400, 500 people just focusing on mergers and acquisition.
Wow, mergers and acquisition. That's the M&A, right?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
Okay. I need to get my acronyms
You got it.
down there.
You got
Yeah,
it.
Perfect. So talk to me a little bit about your journey with Deloitte, because I think a lot of people see people in impressive positions like this, but it doesn't happen overnight. Ruby, talk to me a little bit about your history.
So I started on the Carleton grad, so call out for Carleton.
Go Ravens.
So graduated, always wanted to get into a big firm, and was lucky enough to got an offer from Deloitte. So I started out as an auditor there. Really enjoyed a job, but didn't think that that was the path for me. And then so I got an opportunity. One of my old bosses took pity on me and brought me into the financial advisory practice. So from there, I kind of get exposed to a lot of business leaders, doing a lot of mergers, acquisition, and very specialized financial advisory work, which kind of got me into a lot of qualifications, different programs that I kind of trained myself through the journey. And obviously working with a great firm like Deloitte, I get to work with a lot of smart people, and kind of grow professionally from there.
I think they saw your talents. That's what I think it is. So talk to me a little bit about the work that you do living in Ottawa. I mean, you could probably live anywhere in this country. Why Ottawa, and why is it such an important role for you here?
I graduated here, I went to school here, so I have a lot of friends. My husband is born and raised in Ottawa, so he's a homegrown boy, so it's kind of nice to be close to family as well. And I would say I'm very fortunate, you probably don't see a lot of M&A advisors living in Ottawa. The majority are probably Bay Street, Wall Street, but this is a great place to live. And my kids grow up and 20 minutes away from Gatineau that we can go skiing and hiking, and there's a great community that people generally just love the city, and it's safe and it's fun. I know sometimes people think this is a sleepy town, but to me this is a good balance of art, culture, and a lot of outdoorsy stuff that we can do as family. Great way to raise a family.
I feel the same way. I mean, I think we'll debate on who loves the city more, but I think I feel the exact same way. What's your role with the Ottawa Board of Trade?
So I'm the vice chair there. So I've been there for before the amalgamation and got the opportunity to help out with the amalgamation. And now we have a new board of trade that is more united and then a single voice for the city. So I'm part on the board, and I serve on the finance committee, and I also serve on the board of economic development, or part of the committee as well.
And those committees, how important is that committee work? That you're kind of getting into more of the minutia of it all, as opposed to maybe at the board level where you're dealing with governance issues, etc. How important are those committees and the work being taken place there?
Super, super important. So if I talk about the economic development, so we talk about broad issues around the city. How are we going to advance the growth of our city? How do we put Ottawa on the map, right? And how do we work together in as business leaders to advance some of the agenda, whether it's transit, whether it is talent development, whether it is the safety of our city, and how do we attract business investment? How do we help business leaders grow? Those are all the issues that we live every day.
Yeah, it's so important to have those top of mind. And as our city is changing, and I think some people are afraid of change, I'm excited about the changes that are coming.
Same here.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing.
I am seeing, the way how we work is very different now, right? We talk about hybrid. We talk about sometimes people don't commute to downtown, and I know, as you probably Sueling talked to you about, the downtown revitalization is the main agenda for us. So attracting people, whether it's tourists, people come and play and work, those are the key issues for us, because we need to have a vibrant downtown so that, the whole city shine, and we can bring in more investment, more people, more fun to live with, more people, and more inclusive and diversity as well.
Yeah, I love all that. Today, I don't know if you know this, today all of our guests are women. And I'm so excited. I love it. And so talk to me a little bit about being in a role like yours that maybe isn't traditionally having women in these important roles.
Yeah, it is. It is quite interesting, because when I was growing up, probably not that many women is in the leadership position in the M&A practice, right? Today, I would say we're making progress. But it's still a challenging and very demanding job, right? It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's, so if you're thinking about balancing work-life balance, you have to work on it. And it's not always perfect, but you find a way. If you're passionate about your work, if you have a good group of coworkers that support you, and you generally just love what you're doing, so you find a way to do it.
So let me ask you, when I refer to you as a leader in Ottawa, a business leader in Ottawa, what happens when I say that to you? What are the emotions behind that?
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I think there's in other contexts from as a female, as a minority, you don't see that in Ottawa a lot. I think I start to see more, but we don't have enough, right? So being a representative of that group of leaders, I'm very proud, but I also feel like there's a lot of work for me to do to advance that agenda as well.
What do you tell your children about the work you do?
I would say, I always talk to them about what they want to do when they grow up. They have a long time to figure out, they're still young. But what I talk to them is, if you work hard, and if you truly believe if you truly enjoy what you're doing, then you'll be successful in a way that makes sense to you. Yeah.
When you're having a day, we've all had those days where you think, I don't know if I can do this. It's it's hard work, and you sort of feel like everything's coming at you at once. I had one of those days yesterday, by the way.
We all do.
But I think everybody has them, right?
Yes.
What sustains you as a leader? Where do you turn? Do you turn to a colleague? Do you turn to a mentor? Do you turn to somebody as you are a leader? Do you have people turning to you as well?
Yeah, I always what I call it is my own advisory group. So depending on how challenging the situation is, my husband is always the one here. He loves to give solutions. And I'll have a lot of really smart and caring colleagues that always on my side. So if I need some coverage, if I need someone, to back me up, they're always there for me from a work perspective. And also a group of really good friends that are generally care about my personal well-being, my professional well-being. So it's a tough job, and you need an advisor group to be around you to do that.
So go back to Carleton University. It's year 1, and you get to speak to Ruby Williams and tell her what the next number of years would be like. What advice would you give yourself if you could go back in time?
I would go back in time. Learn how to use your voice. It's a hard lessons for me, and then I'm still progressing and learning every day, but using your voice is important. And speaking for your values is important.
And from a business perspective, it can be sometimes discouraged, right, to speak your voice. It can be sometimes, certainly a long time ago, a lot of times people were told, especially as women, to not have a voice. So you talked about having a voice, how important that's been for you. How key is it moving forward that be something that you also share with maybe a younger generation?
Super important, right? But I would also say that the new generation is a lot more bold, a lot smarter than what I used to be when I first came out of school. So I think people now learn to speak their mind, learn to ask for what they want in their life, and I think it's a super great thing to do, and we should consider to continue to nurture that.
So you're obviously very involved in the Ottawa Board of Trade and very involved in your work. Inspire somebody to become a member. What would you say to somebody that is maybe on the fence? Is membership for me? Is it not for me? What would you say to them?
Get involved in our city, because no one person in this city can do what we do. So if you care about where you live, if you care about your community, if you care about your kids, what the future is going to look like in Ottawa, then get involved, because you can't always sit on the sideline.
Yeah, and I think it's the city a decade from now and 2 decades from now. I certainly want to be able to tell my children that I've done a certain amount of work to build the city. Is that how you feel as well?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a really important message for sure. And all of your colleagues at Deloitte, how do they feel about the work that you're doing with the Ottawa Board of Trade as well?
Super supportive. So we're one of the pillar partners, so we understand how important some of the advocacy work that require a lot of resources, capital as well. So we're there for the Board of Trade, and then we want to continue to support, because it's important to have a vibrant business community here as well.
And I think it's really key as well. We speak about the Ottawa Board of Trade. A lot of people think it is just events. It's just the Bobs. It's just 40 under 40. Well, those are all important. And of course, the mayor's breakfasts and all of the symposiums they put on and all of that really important part of it. That's the fun stuff, right?
That's the fun stuff, yes.
But the important and that grit work that happens in Sueling, as you know, I think she works 24 hours a day, I'm convinced.
I don't know if the woman actually sleeps.
That's what I say. That's what I say all the time. So I think part of it is sort of collaborating on all of that there's really important work being done with all levels of government, but we also get to have fun with the Ottawa Board of Trade as well.
Lots of fun, and I think the key thing is also there's so many great business leaders and volunteers there. We all bring the different lens and different perspective. That's why it makes the experience so great, even from personal growth perspective. If you just put aside everything else, but at the end, it's a community, and we all have a role to play, and we all need to contribute.
Yeah, we all need to contribute for sure. And working in the the finance area and mergers and acquisitions, so I'm learning today. Walk me through. Are you seeing other young women coming into this kind of work?
Not enough.
Okay.
Not enough. And I would say when I first started, I was probably one of the very few group of women. Now I would say I see more people coming out of school graduated, like female graduates, and I see more people interested in the field. But like I said earlier, it is a very challenging work in terms of the work-life balance thing. So people need to make sure that it is something that they really want to do. But once you get to it, the M&A advisor will tell you that they have this high, and when they're in the middle of the transaction, and then when they're helping the client, closing a transaction, negotiate a transaction, they're just so much fun in it, and then you can bring so much value to the conversation. It's hard to live without.
Yeah, there you go. You sold me. That's awesome. Ruby, thank you so much for everything you do for the Ottawa Board of Trade and for everything at Deloitte and for joining us here on Ottawa Business Matters. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Ruby Williams joining us today from Deloitte. When we come back, I know you know her. Sonya Shorey is going to be coming up talking about everything Invest Ottawa. Come on back, everyone. back with Ottawa Business Matters. I'm Sam LaPrade. What a joy today to have Sonya Shorey with me today. She is the Interim President and CEO of Invest Ottawa. Hello, Sonya.
Hello, Sam.
I think about all of the years when I was doing radio, of course, that you were so generous to come on and talk about everything happening in Invest Ottawa, especially during a time, and I don't want to talk about the pandemic all the time, but during the pandemic, boy, Invest Ottawa stepped up.
It was such a privilege to collaborate with so many partners across our community to really look at how we help to keep Main Street and other entrepreneurs operating, generating revenue, attracting customers. That was a whole of community effort together with investors, all three levels of government, so many partners, including the Ottawa Board of Trade, Acobia, our citizens who went out and made that effort to make sure that they were purchasing and procuring from all of those amazing Main Street businesses that are at the heart of our community and the essence of our quality of life.
100%, that shop local message. You and the Ottawa Board of Trade, I mean, both of you just working so collaboratively like you mentioned. And that message can't go away. It needs to stay here, Sonya.
There are so many learnings from that difficult period, and I do believe in silver linings. And so the collaboration that was formed during that era has just continued to grow. There is so much momentum from every corner of the city, so many partners, our post-secondary institutions, Invest Ottawa, the founders and the companies we serve, working together in novel and impactful ways. And that's created so many opportunities. That has sprung from that very difficult time. From difficult times, amazing opportunities will emerge, and the impact, we just continue to build on that as an ecosystem.
Yeah. I think it was 2018, maybe someone said, oh, we'd like to have a meeting. Can you meet us at Invest Ottawa at Bayview Yards? Well, I had no idea what I was in for. It is such an incredible building. It's got a vibe to it. I know you know that. You walk in, there's an energy there. Talk to us a little, for those that don't know about Invest Ottawa, sort of start us off a little bit.
Oh, I love this conversation because we really want to make sure that our entire community understands the opportunity and the impact that exists together with so many partners. So Invest Ottawa is here to create the jobs, the economy, and the community of the future together with all of our citizens, our founders, our companies, our partners. And we really do that in 5 different ways that help entrepreneurs and companies through every step of their business journey, what they need, when they need it. If we don't have it, we have amazing partners that we lean on that can help to deliver that. So we help companies launch, grow, and scale from early stage ideation, like I'm writing a little idea on a napkin and I have no idea how I'm going to grow this, right up to 100 million in revenue. Amazing scaling tech companies in this ecosystem that are creating hundreds of jobs, attracting hundreds of millions in investment. We have so much to be proud of. And Main Street businesses, as we just talked about, that are at the heart of our community. All of the restaurateurs, the hospitality, all of the service providers that make the quality of life here second to none. So we support all of those founders through many different steps in their business journey. We attract companies, talent, and investment in from around the world into our region to help create more jobs and bring more investment to Ottawa. And we do that in the Americas, the European region, and the Asia Pacific region. We help to attract and retain international top tech talent and business talent that our companies need to stay competitive. And in this global mobile technology-based world, we know that there is a war for tech talent, for business talent. And now with remote work, it makes it even more complex. And really, our quality of life is what helps to bring that talent here so that they can join the amazing companies and all the opportunities. Why would you want to be employee number 8,000,002 at a big company in the Valley when you can join a scaling company here that creates an opportunity to create an amazing career and an even better life here with your family?
And every time I go, because I've had the pleasure of visiting many times, I always see someone I'm not expecting to see. And they're like, Sam, I didn't want to tell you, but this is what we're doing, and we started this business. New Canadians, women, everybody seems to be at the table, and that you're just building that long table, right?
And Bayview Yards is that long table. So that's the 4th thing we do, is that innovation hub where we come together, we celebrate, we collaborate, and I say we do things that no one individual organization or team can pursue in isolation. When we want really big innovation impact, it's that mashup of technologies, sectors, different types of people, different stages, different ages, different backgrounds. All of that comes together at Bayview, and we collaborate with our fellow innovation hubs. We're really passionate about Canada's largest tech park, which is Canada North, Hub 350. We collaborate with our friends and colleagues at Hub 350. We're collaborating with Sueling and the team at OBOT and the great work they're doing downtown. If we can harness all of that energy and innovation and do even more together, imagine what we will create in the decades ahead. And then there's ARX.0. And if you haven't been to ARX.0 yet, Sam, you have to get there, because it is our R&D complex for next-gen smart mobility, autonomy, and connectivity. And we're all about helping to bring companies' technologies to market faster, safely. So drones, connected and autonomous vehicle technologies, robotics. There is so much potential in so many different sectors. Ottawa innovators and companies are leading the way. What they are doing is helping to change the world, to make our world safer, to make it more productive, to help address some of our big environmental and climate change challenges, societal challenges, everything from advanced and more innovative transportation to how we can employ those in public safety, to help, looking at the wildfire season that's about to begin. Drones can help us to identify hotspots and mitigate the risk of those fires actually emerging. Innovators here in Ottawa are doing that. And this is all happening from our post-secondary innovators, researchers, and students, right up to the mature companies, the multinationals, and of course all the startups and scale-ups that we love to support, that we're so excited about.
And some of my favorite calls and emails from you are, Sam, you've got to meet this person, you have to meet this person. You've introduced me to incredible people that have, to your point, really changed the way we're going to work in the future.
Yes.
Or they're looking at things like food security. And you mentioned the wildfires. I mean, it's issues that we can't look away from, but they're hitting it head on, and they're determined to make a difference.
One of the things I'm so excited about is triple bottom line companies that are not just in it for that commercial revenue and that opportunity, which is absolutely critical when you're in business. You have to be generating that sustainable long-term revenue. But our companies, there are so many more that are now addressing, as part of their model, societal challenges, addressing UN sustainability goals, and looking for environmental benefits. When you can bring all three of those together, that's powerful, because we've got big challenges in this world. So if we can harness that spirit and challenge those entrepreneurs to think even more broadly, and I see it through all the early stage entrepreneurs. We have tripled the number of entrepreneurs coming to us now for some of our early stage programs. There is a groundswell and such a momentum building, and I think there's a great opportunity to continue pooling our strengths, all of the different capabilities, all of the different expertise that we have here, and channeling it towards those triple bottom line goals that will make Ottawa a shining star and stand out in the world, in the global economy, and in our society.
And someone might be listening and watching right now and say, oh, that's all for someone else. It's not for me. How can you inspire them? Today's all about inspiration. How can you inspire them to reach out to Invest Ottawa?
I'm so passionate about inspiration and actionable insight. If you have that inkling, if you have that drive, even if you're not quite ready to launch a company, or you don't know what kind of company, come immerse yourself with us at Bayview Yards and collaborate with some of our entrepreneurs, our partners. We have an education center. Every single day, our education center rules free programming that anyone can attend. So even if you're looking to dip your toe in the water, kind of see what's happening in technology, what's happening in business, what's happening in entrepreneurship, you can learn from some of the best, because we bring local companies and experts together, and they deliver that programming completely free of charge. We have amazing early stage entrepreneurship programs for Main Street businesses, as well as technology-based businesses. Ignition is our 10-week boot camp where you can explore what it takes to build a solid business foundation from experts in our ecosystem. And in our Small Business Enterprise Center, programs like Starter Company Plus help you from A to Z in terms of how you can actually build that Main Street business with the right foundation, with founders helping founders. That's one of the most beautiful parts of our entrepreneurship ecosystem. We are an ecosystem that has grit, that has passion, and so much entrepreneurial momentum, where founders give back to fellow founders. And that's a really differentiating element that I think sets so many up for success long term, sets our region up for success long term.
And I think my next question is going to be just as easy to answer as, who's your favorite child? This is going to be a very difficult question. So is there a story that when you put your head on your pillow at night, you think, this is the story that drives me?
There are so many. How can you choose a favorite company? And I do want to show some love to all the different types of organizations we support. So I talk a lot about The Grocer. The Grocer emerged from the University of Ottawa, led by Corey and Alita. Alita is one of our She Boot pitch winners. She was an amazing woman founder that went through our investment readiness boot camp. Together, they have scaled an incredible company that really does have that give back element and that commercial impact. So They have these amazing sea shipping containers. They've got hydroponic technology inside that will enable communities to grow fresh produce in temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Celsius. And they have deployed at least 100 of them. They're serving Indigenous communities. They're helping remote communities actually build up their economy and feed their people in a sustainable way that doesn't have a detrimental environmental impact and is growing an amazing scaling business. Huge, huge pride, right? A University of Ottawa graduate. I just did a tour recently of Siemens Healthineers. Amazing company, doing marvelous things in terms of life sciences and health tech. 350 people employed in this region. Technologies that are being built here that are going around the world to help address major health challenges. They were pivotal in the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of equipping some of our hospitals and first responders with technologies that would enable us to detect it faster. They are doing marvelous things, and their entire supply chain, so much of their supply chain is built on local vendors. So it's not just the impact that Siemens Healthineers is having on big life science challenges and our local economy and our global economy, but also supporting other businesses here in our region. Amazing.
It is amazing.
You know, I could talk to you all day about how proud I am of the types of tech and Main Street businesses, founders, and multinational companies that are working together in an ecosystem to create the jobs, economy, and community of our future as an ecosystem.
We only have a short period of time, which I'm sad, because I could talk to you all day as well. Tell us where we're going to get all this great information.
So come to investottawa.ca. Bayview Yards, right outside of the cusp of the downtown, right at the LRT stop. There is something happening there every single day. Bayview is back. We cannot believe the momentum and the energy. We have events rolling in our foundry, our conference space every single day. And there is so much to learn just from the coffee chats, just from walking through the facility, the different people that you will meet. You know, AreaX.O, Bayview and Invest Ottawa host many different events. There'll be some exciting announcements. I can't share what they are just yet, but there's a lot of exciting things coming up. And it's the collaboration of all of our partners working together that really makes it all possible. We're incredibly grateful to all three levels of government, to all of our collaborators, our post-secondary institutions, the founders, the companies, the leaders that are making it happen. I gotta say, we have the top tech talent concentration in all of North America here, Sam.
Amazing.
We have so much to be proud of.
I know, I love it. I love it so much. Sonya, thank you so much for joining us today. Sonya Shorey, of course, is from Invest Ottawa. When we come back, Susan Ingram's going to be here. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Ottawa. Come on back. What happens when you take a nonprofit leader and shake her up a little bit? Well, you come up with a social enterprise, and Susan Ingram has done just that from Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Ottawa. How are you?
I am good. Hi, Sam.
I'm going to go back 6-7 years ago, and you said to me, Sam, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Ottawa, I want to do a social enterprise. I want to open up a store. I want to call it Thrive. The dreams come true. Yeah. Take us to why you even wanted to do a social enterprise in the first place.
Yeah, sure. I think, well, what we decided in 2015 was, how do we look at where our money is coming from as an organization? As a charity, we're always trying to find new, innovative ways to raise funds to run our programs. You know, we've been in the city 54 years. We've been running programs for 54 years. People know us really well about our mentorship programs. And, you know, a struggle for a charity is finding that sustainable way of keeping those programs running. And so in 2015, we said, let's try something different. And social enterprise at the time in the city was something that everyone was talking about. And I had a really brave board, and they invested, they said, okay, let's start. And I said, okay, let's start with collecting clothing. We had 5 other organizations within Ontario that were doing that we knew of, and they were very successful with it. And we decided, okay, let's invest. And we bought our first 5 clothing bins at the end of 2015. And with that, we grew it to 25 clothing bins across the city. And we knew that phase 1 was that, and phase 2 would be actually having a store. And yeah, we opened it last year. It was open, or actually I should say 2022, and it's been open for a year now. And so the real premise of it was, let's find a way that we can find some revenue coming into the charity that we can decide what we want to do with it, right? And then at the same time start incorporating our mission and how do we get our kids involved, and what would be a great business idea where our young people could participate and mentorship could be part of that. And the thing that we know about mentorship is that young people that are mentored, you know, they have they're more likely to graduate from high school, they're more likely to be employed, they're more likely to give back to the community. And so finding something that aligned with us as an organization and having a business line was very important for us. So that was our motivation around, and that's what a social enterprise is.
And it's brilliant. And you're a member of the Ottawa Board of Trade. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
We've been members with the Board of Trade for quite a long time and really appreciate that exposure to businesses across the city. You know, very supportive of us as a charity and wanting to help. You know, corporate Ottawa are a very philanthropic community, and I think that they really love innovation. And so when we talk about this innovative way for us to raise funds, and that it's really taking this entrepreneur way of looking at our charitable work, they've been very supportive of that. So Board of Trade means a lot to the city and means a lot to the businesses in the community.
I don't want to brag or anything, but I might have been there on opening day.
You were.
For Thrive, and then there to celebrate 1 year anniversary. Those milestones, I mean, I remember when you opened, I've never seen you smile, you know, bigger than that day. The day that it all came together, and the young people and the fashion show with the bigs and the littles,
awesome.
and there's just so much beautiful work that's gone into Thrive, of course, located at the Emerald Plaza, right on Maryville Road, great location.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the actual store.
Yeah, so we opened in September 2022. It is on Maryville Road, Emerald Plaza. Some of your viewers might remember the old TD. There's a TD bank that was there in the past. They've moved over to the other mall. So we're in that little location. We have clothes that are secondhand clothes. We've opened up a new part to the back where you can actually find miscellaneous other home stuff that you would be looking for. We have a co-op program that we offer at the store too for our kids in high school, which is amazing. So yeah, it's been it's sometimes hard to find. We're really working hard on building up that visibility for the store. People that come in, one of the big things that we hear the most is how happy they are to know that when they're coming in and shopping, that the dollars that they're spending are coming back into programs into the city and coming back to young people in the city. And so that's been a real big motivation for people to come back and continue to shop with us. So you know, our main focus at the store is to make sure that people know we're there, and that how it ties back to what we do as an organization as Big Brothers Big Sisters. But we really are happy with being on Maryville Road, and Maryville Road has a lot of other thrift stores, right? So you have a lot of thrifters that are coming. That was one of the big motivations for us to choose that location, was we already know that there's many people that want to thrift. You know, thrifting is for everybody, right? There's people that are looking for that great find. There's people that are trying to figure out, you know, some people need to be thrifting. Some people really care about the environment. So there's something for everybody, and there's many stores along that road. And we wanted to be part of that.
As the mom of a daughter who likes to thrift, she's certainly taken me places that the experience isn't pleasant. Here's where you are so different. It's bright, it's inviting. There's change areas, which is very rare in thrifting.
Yeah.
It's a completely different perspective. There's positivity literally on the walls. I mean, it's the staff are inviting and excited for you to be there, and the volunteers, of course. So why was not only the concept, but the actual space so important in terms of being so positive?
Well, I mean, the name, right? When we came with the name Thrive, we really wanted it to be that for people when they come in. We wanted it to be a place where it was a thriving community, where people would come in and feel that it was a safe space for them, that they felt accepted, that they felt that, you know, that they were there and that they were experiencing a great time when they were shopping. And, you know, that was really important for us as an organization. We are a mentoring organization. We build relationships, And so we wanted our store to reflect that. And so our volunteers love to be talking to everybody. Our retail managers, same thing, are there to help and support people. We want to be able to offer people assistance if they need to know, find a great outfit, we're there to help you. Or, you know, we've got our co-op program and our young people that are coming in and learning about what it's like to work in a retail location, whether they're learning about social media and how to support a charity. We really want that feeling to be across the store at all times, right? It's really important for us. Thanks.
I follow former City Councillor Keith Eglai,
Yeah.
and of course your chair,
Yeah.
on social media. So I think it's every Monday or Tuesday, I see him holding up a new T-shirt or a new, you know, something, a new jacket, or, you know, it's wonderful to see the involvement of the board as well, and of community leaders. That's just one example, of course, of people that have come out. I saw former Mayor Watson was
Yes,
was
he's out
thrifting as
shopping.
well.
Yeah, he was.
So how important is it for you to be recognized in that way as well?
Yeah, it's really important. So it's funny enough, our board members have started to volunteer, so they love it. Keith and his wife volunteer every Tuesday night. So if anyone wants to come and see Keith, he's working, he's volunteering. But no, it's really important for, you know, having Jim Watson there was really important for him to talk about. It's really to bring awareness to that we're doing what we're doing, right? Bring awareness to the store and to be supportive of the work that we're doing in the city. It's very important for us to have that. But our board's been very, you know, they really believe in this. They believe in the store. They believe in the work that we're doing, and that really helps, right? And when you have, you know, we've had different, like Tara Shannon, one of our great supporters, an ambassador for us who loves the store, you know, talking about the store. I think that's the most important thing for us is to, people feel that, and I feel that being innovative and thinking outside the box as a charity is so important, and being innovative like we have been, I think it really resonates with many people in the city, right? And recognizing that, you know, we have to try and troubleshoot as a charity what that looks like for us in the future. Where are we going to be able to find these creative ways to bring in revenue for our programs and to sustain? I mean, we've 54 years we've been in the city. We want to be here another 54 years for our young people. We've served thousands of kids throughout those years, and this is a new way for us to be doing that. Yeah.
Inspire other nonprofit leaders that may have a social enterprise to become part of the Ottawa Board of Trade. I think people would be surprised that there's, you know, a nonprofit leader like yourself there.
Yeah, I think it's important. What I would say to other charitable leaders is, you know, sometimes they're early morning meetings, sometimes they're early morning breakfast, but you get to network with some amazing people in the city, and you get to recognize how many people in the community really want to support you and are there to help. One of the things for Big Brothers Big Sisters, I'm always amazed that every time I go out to those types of events, how many people say, oh, I know somebody that was a big brother, or my dad was a big brother, or I had somebody in my family that was a little sister. I hear those stories all the time, and so I would encourage other charities to be doing the same thing, because I think you'd be surprised at how many people within the corporate Ottawa have actually participated in services of your organization or know of people and understand your impact, and they want to be able to have an impact. I worked in the private sector in my career, in my early days, and when I transitioned into the charitable sector, it made such a difference for me. I understand the difference, right? Is you want to be giving back, but how do you give back? So I work in the charitable sector, but there's those in corporate Ottawa that, you know, they want to do that too, and you just need to give them the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, and really inspire them,
Yeah.
you know, as well, to get involved
Yeah.
and be part of, you know, you have a great breakfast event, you've got lots of different events that happen throughout the year, so it's a great collaboration.
We love to have them come out and volunteer. We've been doing some corporate events at the store where you can come out and you can, as a team building exercise, come out and we bring in food and they sort through clothes, and I can't believe how many people love sorting through secondhand clothing, but it's a thing. So we have companies coming in and sorting through clothing, and that's been really fun for them. And yeah, of course, we've got our other traditional events, right? Like we have our golf tournament that's in September, and we have race weekend coming up that we're asking people to run on our behalf. So yeah, there's always those traditional things that we're doing for fundraising, and but trying to incorporate the store into that as well.
It's all about inspiration today.
Yeah.
So inspire people to bring that clothing as well to you. Those items that would be great for the shop. We have about a minute.
Yeah, so what I would ask everybody to do is, you know, you might not be able to become a mentor, you might not be able to donate dollars, but I'm sure that you can come in and donate your clothes. And please come in. We need, you know, everything. Nothing's off the table. Bring in your, you know, gently used dresses and shoes and purses and jewelry and anything that you've got at home that you know, decor. Bring it all in, and we take it at the store anytime, Tuesday through Saturday, and come by and drop it off. And we really appreciate that type of support.
Wonderful. My daughter and I have a bin that, you know, we just put stuff in and then we bring it in every couple of weeks. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
As always.
Thanks.
Susan Ingram, of course, a great community leader. She's the executive director of Big Brothers Big Sisters Ottawa, and you'll want to reach out to Thrive and ensure that they thrive. This is Ottawa Business Matters. I'm Sam LaPrade. A big thank you to all of our guests today. Sueling Ching, of course, Sonya Shorey, Ruby Williams, and Susan Ingram. We'll see you next time. I'm Sam LaPrade.